up guys, Mark here. So in my 12th place we have Helen. This is a nice song, it's not a bad song by any means, but it just isn't my cup of tea. I think one major critique I have is that the song seems very dated and just not something that I can really see on the Eurovision stage in 2022. Now some songs that are a little bit old school, like Barbara Pravi with Voila, do work really well. I think Barbara definitely took something like Chanson, which at first might seem very dated or very old-fashioned, made it feel fresh and new for the present day. This song doesn't really do that, however, and I really had a hard time getting into it. Not really sure why that is. Maybe it was because it was a bit dated and because it was a bit old-fashioned. But overall, yeah, I really was not such a big fan of this song. However, I do understand that it is objectively a decent song, not a bad song by any means. So I'm going to give this song a 7 out of 10, and let's move on to my number 11 spot. And my number 11 is a song I thought I would like at first, but as the song went along, I kind of lost interest in it. Now, I'm not exactly sure why that is, but I think one major part of this is that Elliot's song doesn't really take me anywhere. The song doesn't really reach any crescendo, doesn't really do anything that different, doesn't really captivate me in the way that a lot of other songs on this list do. So for that reason, I'm just going to give the song an 8 out of 10. And with that, let's move on to my number 10 spot. Now this is a pretty cool song actually, like it is musically interesting, but the chorus just doesn't really grab me that much. And honestly, the chorus is just a little bit underwhelming for me. Again, I do like her voice, I do like a lot of the elements of this song, I think that she can give a good performance. I just want to see this live, I think that's one big part of it, and I want to see what she does with staging, because I think it's very hard to judge a lot of these songs without seeing the live vocals and without seeing the staging. Just judging the song itself, the chorus is a bit meh for me, so I feel like if that's worked on, or if the staging or the live vocals can compensate for that, then this could be higher, but I'm just going to keep the song at an 8 out of 10. From there, let's move on to my number 9 spot. I think this is genuinely a good song. However, I didn't really connect with it that much, and that's more on me than on the song itself. Again, I think it is a good song. I think Sam did a fantastic job with his performance. I don't think those vocals were live that we saw and those audition tapes or whatever it was, but regardless, he does seem to have a very good voice, and I think he can do pretty well if he does go to Eurovision. However, kind of like with Elliot, I didn't feel like this song took me anywhere that interesting, and the chorus was a little bit repetitive for me, and sometimes repetition works, right? Sometimes that does work in a song, again, like with Voila, which is a great example of where a song being a bit repetitive works and does not hold back the song from being amazing. However, in this case, just in my opinion, it just didn't really click with me as well as some of the others, and that repetitiveness definitely kind of dragged it down for me and made me lose a bit of interest in the chorus. So for Sam, I give him an 8.5 out of 10. And with that, let's move on to my number 8 spot, which is Marius. Now, this is a nice break from some of the more upbeat songs on this list. I actually do like what he's going for here. I think it's nice to have a slow song amidst all the other upbeat or pop sounding songs. However, the song in itself isn't super exciting for me. And of course, we don't need like super exciting upbeat songs all the time. But for me, the song just didn't really resonate as much as some of the others. I couldn't really get that into it. I'm not really sure why that is. Maybe just because it was a bit of a slow song. But for me, it just wasn't that interesting to me. Again, I think this actually is a really good song. So I'm going to give it an 8.5 out of 10. Very close to a 9 out of 10. Because this is definitely a good song and has a lot of interesting elements in it. However, just overall isn't very captivating for me. And maybe it'll grow on me with time. I think this song is a song that will grow on me eventually. But for now, I'm just going to keep it at the spot on my list with an 8.5 out of 10. And with that, we'll move on to my next spot on this list. Now, this song has a really cool concept, but in execution, it's just kind of average for me. I think this song is good. I like the visuals. I like the harp. I think that's a really interesting addition. So that makes Pauline stand out a lot. And her voice in this song is really nice. I don't know what it is about the song itself. It just kind of is a bit underwhelming for me, but I do think it is a good song overall. Maybe I just had higher expectations because maybe that outfit and that harp kind of made me expect a little bit more, but I think the song is overall pretty good. I'm going to give this one an 8.5 out of 10. And with that, let's move on to my next spot on this list. Now, this is a really nice song, and I think it is really interesting and musically just nice to listen to. It was a bit slow at first, and I wasn't sure how much I would like it overall. However, towards the end of the song, there's this like ethnic part. The song really switches up towards the end, and I really like that. I think it's in the bridge where the song just sort of picks up and it starts to change and does something different. And that's what I really like about this song. While it's not one of my favorites, the song does something different, and I really appreciate it for that, and also brings a lot of diversity to C'est Vous Qui Décidez. So overall, really like the song a lot. I just don't like it as much as some of the others. That doesn't mean it's bad at all. And yeah, overall, great song, 9 out of 10. Then we're going to move on to Julia's song. Now, this is actually a really great song. Like, I love this song a lot. Like, it has a great vibe. I think Julia has a great voice. The song has a great beat. Just overall, the song just has a really great atmosphere that I really like and that I really keep coming back to. This is one of those songs that I have revisited a lot, and I think it definitely will grow on me as we get closer to the date of the contest. So I love this song a lot. I think the spoken part at the end is also a really nice touch. This one I just have to listen to a bit more for it to grow on me to become a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10. But right now, I'm just going to give this song a 9 out of 10. I like it a lot, and I think it has a lot of potential in C'est Vous Qui Décidez and even some potential in Eurovision. But yeah, overall, really like this song. Not so sure if it's like a winner for me, but I do like it a lot, so I'm just going to put it in my 5th place right now. And let's move on to my next next spot on this list with Elia's song, Telephone. This song is just a total bop. I love it a lot. It might be a little bit generic, which is probably the only criticism I really have for it besides some of its repetitiveness, but it has great staging potential. I can see this being really good live, and I think Elia has a great voice. I think the song is a total vibe, has a great beat, just sounds amazing. And the chorus could use some work, I guess. Like, the chorus could use just a little bit of work more than just saying telephone. But in this case, unlike in some other cases, I think the repetitiveness is not that much of a detractor here. It still works overall, and the song is really fun. Like, I love listening to this song, and I can see it on the playlist. It's not on the playlist just yet, but I can see it getting there with a few re-listens as the song continues to grow on me. So with that, we're going to move on to my top 3 for C'est Vous Qui Décidez, and in third place is Joanne's song. Now, I can see that a lot of people might critique this song for being very similar to Barbara Pravi, and I would agree. This definitely gives me very similar vibes. There is that sort of chanson or that very old school element to it. However, I think she kind of makes this her own thing. At first I was like, oh, what a clone of Barbara Pravi, but as the song went along, I was like, no, Joanne has her own identity here. She has her own spin on that sort of genre, and the song overall is really good. The only points I would take off for is just it being a little bit generic, and I'm only saying generic just because we had Barbara last year. I think the song on its own is fantastic. I think Joanne has done a great job here, and I really want to see this live. I want to see this on the C'est Vous Qui Décidez stage. I want to see how she really turns this into something more than just what some might consider a copy of Barbara, because I think she can, and if she does, this can definitely be a 9.5 or a 10 out of 10 for me. But right now, I'm going to give Joanne's song a 9 out of 10. I can see it doing very well in C'est Vous Qui Décidez. Not sure if it will do well in Eurovision just because I feel like some people would compare it to Barbara. However, still great song on its own. Fantastic work here, and let's move on to my top 2. So in my second place is Alvin's song. Now this song reminds me a lot of Tanchugueras, and I think a lot of people kind of had the same reaction to this song, and that's a good thing. Like, that's not a bad thing at all. I love Tanchugueras, and I thought they were one of the best in Benidorm, definitely one of my favorites. This is like if Tanchugueras became French. Like, this is great, and this song overall is really fun and really unique. This song definitely has this certain X factor that a lot of the other songs I don't think really have, and just really pulls you in. Like, I definitely was just enthralled in this performance. It was very captivating, very weird, very gothic, very surreal. Something about it just really stood out, and just not just the song itself. The way these performers look and the way they act and the way they move and just everything about it is so interesting, so captivating, and I just love it overall. I think this is a great overall package here and just a good performance. So with that, I'm going to give this a 9 out of 10. I cannot wait to see what they do on the stage this Saturday, and I really think that this song is definitely a potential winner for C'est Vous Qui Décidez and can give France maybe top 10 in Eurovision. So with that, we're going to move on to my number 1, and that is Soa. Now this, from the first couple seconds, I was like, okay, this can win. This is such a great and captivating song. Really interesting work that they've done here. The song itself is very powerful, very interesting, and I love a lot of the vocal moments in it, especially the high notes at the end. Like, this song has it all, and I just love the atmosphere that it gives me. Some might argue that this is maybe a little bit generic. You might have seen something like this before, but for me, it works, and I think it does stand out among the competition. Both the performers do a great job here, and even though they might not be singing live, I still feel a lot of emotion in their performance. The visuals here, the chemistry on stage is fantastic. Like, you can really feel the chemistry on stage. I think the performers are both very, very talented, and they bring a lot to this performance. Their facial expressions, their movements, just the way that they move around the stage, it's very interesting and very captivating, and it isn't boring. This song is never boring. This song really ropes me in, and I just love it so much. I think this is definitely a great contender for France. If it does go to Eurovision, which I do hope it does, I think it can break top 10, because this song is just so interesting and so unique that I think it's going to appeal with a lot of audiences in Eurovision. It definitely appeals with me, and I just love it overall. I'm not really sure what the song is about. I would like to know what they're about. Maybe I'll look them up after this video, but this is one of those songs, kind of like Monica Liu with Sentimente, where before even knowing the lyrics, you just feel what it's about. There's a power to this song and a certain gravitas which just makes it stand out and just makes it so exceptional, and for that, I'm going to give this song a 9.5 out of 10. Very close to a 10 out of 10, but I want to hold off on that until I see it live, until I see it with live vocals, until I see it on stage for C'est Vous Qui Décidez, on that final stage, that final round, doing their final performance. Then I'll have a better idea of where the song ranks with me, and if it does go to Eurovision, I can probably give it a more accurate ranking. But right now, 9.5 out of 10, definitely my first place and my winner for C'est Vous Qui Décidez this year, and I can definitely see it doing really, really well in Eurovision this year. I think this is the kind of performance that Turin needs. I think it can be a show-stopping performance, especially if they either revamp the song or do something really creative with the staging. Lots of potential here, and overall, France has had a great national selection this year. France has really stepped up their game in the past 2 years. Of course, we had Barbara last year, and that was exceptional, and this year too. Great songs, great selection here, and really excited to see what France does this year, because I do want to see France do well in Eurovision. Barbara was my winner last year, actually, and I just want to see this country kind of come back. France had a couple couple not so great entries like in 2020 with Best in Me or something like that. Like, I wasn't a big fan of that song. I loved Bilal Hassani, but he didn't break top 10. So I do want to see France do well. I think this country has beautiful music, and C'est Vous Qui Décidez this year is an example of that. So really happy for France, really excited to see what they deliver this year. And with that, let's wrap up this video. Thank you guys so much for watching. I really hope you enjoyed this video. If you agree, disagree, let me know down below. Be sure to like and subscribe. It is free, and all you have to do is like Eurovision, and I will see you all next time. Peace.